Hello everybody, welcome back to Easy Weeknight Cooking with Heart's Desire Spice Blends. So what are we doing tonight? We're doing super simple chili. I almost called it stupid simple chili. Anyway, what do you need first? Of course, you need our chili bowl. A can of beans. Tonight I'm going to be using black beans, but other kinds of beans that go very well in this are going to be kidney beans, which tend to be sweeter, and of course pinto beans, ye old favorite. 2 cans of some sort of tomatoes. I'm going with diced and crushed. 1 medium onion. I'm going for 2 small onions. 1 pound of some sort of meat. Now you can use ground, you can use chunks, you can use chicken, beef, pork, whatever you like. So why don't we get started by chopping up our onions. We're going to saute our onions with browning our meat and then throw everything in, get all the wonderful bits up off the bottom of the pan and have a yummy dinner. And this time I do not have one hidden in the oven. Why? Because I'm hungry and this is going to be done in less than half an hour. Score. What are we going to do? We're going to go ahead and dice up the onions. I like to cut off the stem end first, cut it in half, peel it. And then what I'll do is I will slice down to the root end, but not through it, then slice perpendicular to that so that we've got a handy dandy little handle right here. So to but not through the root end, and you're gonna actually make these slices as big as your family loves them. There's no real magic size here. So if you like big chunks, go ahead and cut them in big chunks. If you've got a picky eater who hates onions of any stripe and will not eat anything if they can find an onion powder might be best. So we're going to want to heat this up before we throw anything in there. Always put a little bit of oil on the bottom of your pan. I love these cast iron pans for this, and what's more, this is an enameled cast iron, and if you're going to use cast iron for everything, use an enameled cast iron for anything that uses tomatoes. Why? Because tomatoes are very acidic and they can strip the seasoning right up off the bottom of your cast iron. So we've got our oil heating up. I'm going to go ahead and break up my onions in there. So we've got a sizzle going on. I have actually pre-broken up my ground meat, so I can just put that right on in there. Break up your meat a little bit and let it brown. Now, what you're basically doing right now is just adding a bit of browning to everything because browning means flavor. So we've got a good amount of browning here. So if you take a look at the bottom, look at that. It's got a little bit of fond on the bottom. This is a good thing. That means that you're developing some of the flavors. You're basically caramelizing some of what's going on down here. That's called fond, and it's gorgeous stuff. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our diced tomatoes and we're going to throw them in there. And the extra juices in your diced tomatoes will actually help you bring that fond up off the bottom of the pot. So we've got kind of a watery mess on the bottom of the pan, which is excellent. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna use all that wonderful liquid to scrape up the brown bits on the bottom of the pan so that we don't miss out on all that flavor. And the bottom of the pan also does not burn. Now, time to throw in the chili bowl. We're doing 1 tablespoon per pound, guys. And you can scale up this recipe to your heart's content. Okay, that's about a tablespoon. Stir that around a little bit. Make sure that all those wonderful chilies get in there. Now, I'm hearing some of you going, but Natalie, chili bowl isn't all chilies. And you're absolutely right. And there's a reason why I tell you to put it in now rather than in with your ground meat. You see, chili bowl, yummy, has not only chilies, but several herb spices and several seed spices. Things like cumin and garlic. Is not exactly a seed spice. Basically, several of our seed spices will hold up to a dry fry or something where it's got complete contact with the bottom of the pan, the chilies will to a degree, but the herbs in there will not. Okay, we're gonna turn this down. That's why I tell you to put it in the middle of your cooking where you've got a lot of liquid around there, and it's gonna infuse its flavor into that liquid. The chilies will hydrate, your seed spices will infuse into your liquid, and so will your herbs. That's what you want. Seriously, that is what you want. Okay, and I'm putting the liquid that this was canned in there as well, because that's also lots of really great flavor for the beans. And we are almost done here. As you can tell, there's not a lot of ingredients in this. The recipe is right in the description, and you do not have to worry about what's in your food. Seriously, I love that. So look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Seriously, yum. Give me a spoon. Oh my goodness. And so you've got a good amount of pot liquor in there. It's gorgeous stuff. You can see your beans, your meat, the whole 9 yards. So basically, a lot of people will absolutely love this just the way it is. And we need to let this simmer for a little while before it's done. Make sure all of that meat is indeed all done all the way through, because when we're browning ground meat, sometimes it gets done all the way through, but oftentimes it doesn't just yet. You've got larger chunks in there. So this needs to get done all the way through. While that's cooking, we can turn the heat back up a little bit to about medium high, and that's cooking and getting ready. We've got some toppers over here that are just awesome. Now, another real quick tip before I go there. Some people like their chili with just a whole lot more thick than what I just showed you here. They like this thing where, you stick a fork in it and the fork stands straight up. There's a way to get that with this chili. And I recommend one of two things. I mean, the traditional way to do that is to thicken this with Masa Flour, which is awesome stuff, but not everybody has it in their kitchen, right? But there's another way. Why do I have this? Grind up some tortilla chips, especially if you're not on a low salt diet. Grind up some tortilla chips, about an ounce of regular tortilla chips. Now this is one of my favorite handheld grinders. And as you could tell, it's not shaped like most grinders. It's actually an oval shape. The reason I love that is because you don't get pockets of spice that are unevenly ground. It actually throws the spice around and, grinds it pretty evenly. So if you need a little extra oomph in here to make it a lot thicker, go ahead and use Masa Flour or tortilla chips, about an ounce of tortilla chips, and go ahead and put a little masa in there and just go ahead and stir and add some to taste. Make sure that it hydrates before you add more. What else are we gonna need for this? We're gonna need some toppings, seriously. And what else does better than sour cream, cheese, and of course, green onion. So I'm going to give this a stir because it sounds wonderful. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Oh, look at the bubblies. Oh, beautiful stuff. And we are getting nicely friendly here. And this is a beautiful texture. Oh my gosh, and it smells awesome. I want a spoon. Let's get busy on these toppings. We've got ourselves green onion. The best presentation of green onion that I've ever found is when you slice it diagonally, like so. And so go ahead and cut off the very root end, cut off the greens, because they tend to be really dry and just not great. Instead of putting it straight onto your knife, go ahead and turn your green onion about a 45-degree angle and slice from there, really thin. You want to slice these up basically last, or else they start to get a soapy texture. I'm going to turn that off because it smells and sounds so done. Let's go ahead and stir it up a little bit. This is a salt-free, sugar-free, great, easy, simple recipe. So, look at that. Oh, yes. I'm going to throw a little bit of this shredded cheese on there. A little bit of sour cream. Give me a dollop, please. Throw on a few green onions for texture and flavor and, of course, presentation. And who doesn't want to dig into that? Seriously. Hot stuff. Real hot stuff. Mmm. Mmm. The tomato kick, you can taste the meat and the beans. They've got their own flavor, good amount of tomato in there. And what's more, if it's not hot enough for you, throw in a little bit more chili bowl or even a little bit of cayenne and it's all good. But it's got a lot of great Tex-Mex flavor there. So from our house to yours, bon appetit. We have simple chili. That's awesome. Keep things tasty and we will see you next week.